If you actually like track and field at the pro level, then you should know about Grand Slam track by now. They didn't just come in the game announcing that they were going to become the new big thing in the sport. They put their money where their mouth was because they pay more prize money for their races than anybody else has ever done. So much so that I actually think that we've seen more money flow into the sport since they announced it. Like the Diamond League raised their prize money. Now we're going to have a World Ultimate Championship in 2026 with $150,000 for the winner. Like, all of a sudden, people started finding money when Grand Slam track put it on the table. Shout out to Michael Johnson and everything that he's doing to not just bring this league to the forefront, but the athletes who've also joined on because they are showing up and showing out. I'm not going to list off all the crazy performances because if I did, I'm going to miss some. You should probably remember most of them because when you have names like Kenny Bednarik, Sidney McLaughlin-Lavroni, even Josh Kerr for that matter, like, what are you expecting to happen? Gabby Thomas, no less. You're going to get big performances anytime they show up and compete like it actually matters. And that's what Grand Slam track is doing. But the reason why I'm making this video, and wasn't planning on it, so I'm just going to rip this thing off because you deserve to know what happened. Grand Slam track is making some new changes. Those changes came after the Jamaica and Miramar slams, and as they move forward, Miramar, Miami for the record, as they move forward for Philadelphia and Los Angeles, the schedule for their slams is going to change, and they're even going to make some differences or some shifts to the events themselves. So here they are. The first thing is that Grand Slam track through the first two slams of the year, because they have 4 on their calendar. For the first 2, it was a 3-day event. That's just what it was. And that's about to be done. Because when we go to Philly and Los Angeles, those slams are now going to be a 2-day event. I've seen in the comment section that some people have felt that the action could be cut down to 2 days. And I hear that. I mean, I personally enjoyed the 3 days of track. Like, as a fan, I enjoyed them. I mean, I was down in Miramar, Miami for that event and got to enjoy it for what it was. But at the end of the day, it is true that you could fit the competition into 2 days if you really wanted to. Which brings me now to the second change. Because everything that you saw for the short sprints, the short hurdles, all of that's not going to change much. You're just going to see the athletes in 2 days instead of 3 days. So everybody competes on day 1, everybody competes on day 2. The only event group that was going to be a larger issue to do, to go from 3 days to 2 days, was the long distance group. Because up until now, they were running a 5K and a 3K. The Grand Slam track decided, since running both of those events back to back wasn't going to work, they decided, all right, fine then. Just don't have them run both events. So the 5K is done. They're not running the 5K at Grand Slam anymore. And if you're a long distance runner, you will now only be running in the 3K. That means all the other event groups have 2 events, where they tally up the points and you have a winner at the end of the weekend. But now, for the long distance, we don't really need the points anymore. It's just a race, and that race is now going to pay you not $100,000, because that was for 2 races, but $50,000 for 1. That is still more money than anything else you can make on the pro circuit to run a 3K. As far as I know, somebody can fact check me in the comments, but that is still a shift. And the larger conversation is less so much about the changes, 2 days versus 3 days or what have you. I don't think most people are going to care that much about it, or some people aren't even really going to notice. But the real discussion is, what are we expecting to happen going forward for Grand Slam track? Because I already know which side of the fence I'm sitting on. Pro track and field has had an issue for a very long time, and the athletes, I mean, the majority of them will tell you how big an issue it is. There's very little money to actually make in the sport. Most of the athletes who show up in the races have day jobs. It just is what it is. Not making it up, it's a fact. I've already shared my thoughts on it, because you take an athlete like Rye Benjamin, who is not in Grand Slam track, but the other fast 400 hurdlers who are American have already competed on the Grand Slam track stage. The only reason Rye Benjamin can likely opt out is because he has what I'll call the seat of honor when it comes to the Diamond League and situations like that. He gets paid real money to show up in those races. Because the prize money, it really isn't a big deal. It's all about appearances when it comes to the Diamond. Again, I don't know all the information, but I know quite a bit of it. If you are someone like him, again, at the Olympic trials last year, everybody he's competing against has a day job, except him. Either that or they're actively a college student, which is why they're running in a college uniform while they're at the Olympic trials. Grand Slam track Even when we were in Miami, you had athletes like Ja'Cory Patterson, who was very open that he was working a job at UPS as a truck driver while he was still competing. This is the man who went to the World Indoor Championships while working a night shift job for UPS. Now, after getting a paycheck from Grand Slam, he is finally in a position to consider stepping away from that job and focusing almost now like 100% on being a professional track athlete. And even if Ja'Cory Patterson isn't a big deal, it's not like he's a nobody. He was an NCAA athlete who competed at Florida, helped them win national titles, competed at the highest levels, SEC conference championships, all of that, and goes onto the pro circuit. And this is where he's at. He's working at UPS while trying to run. Goes to World Indoor, gets a medal individually, comes back and is still working for UPS. That is where we're starting the negotiations from. Just being honest. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. It's actually the reason why, I have my opinions on it. I've already shared it. When Noah Lyles decides that he's going to do a benefit race or like a money-making race with Tyreek Hill and try to make an event out of it, the truth is there is more money in that than being a pro track athlete going to traditional pro events. But again, Noah Lyles has said himself that Grand Slam track had the ability to shift the narrative. He actually put out an interview recently with Run Blog Run, or something like that. Forgive me if I'm messing up the name. And I believe it was filmed a little bit earlier, but he shared some of his thoughts where Grand Slam track could quite literally restructure the entire pro landscape, including how contract with the shoe sponsors, like they're going to be written differently if Grand Slam track is successful. That's what we really need to focus on. Because some people, I'm not entirely sure if they want it to be successful or not. And the league has already made it clear, or like Grand Slam track is showing that they're trying to be agile and move to where the fans are. We could talk about TV ratings and, fans in the stands and all that. But like I said, you can't fix the problem if you don't admit that you actually have one. There is a very real problem for pro track and field. Again, I'm not making it up. I'm not crying wolf. I'm not saying let's save the sport just because I want to say it because it sounds good on a thumbnail. Why do you think Matt Centrowitz, who is the voice of the Diamond League, like that's what he is, he's hired by them, but he was calling the first Grand Slam track event, the one they did in Jamaica. He's wearing a shirt that says Save Track. You think he's just wearing it because it looks cool? The statement is based in some sense of community feeling that the sport needs a shift. So I'm going to ask you a question. And I know a lot of people on this channel, not all, care a whole bunch about sprinting events. So let's talk about the sprinting events. Forget about what Grand Slam track has already given us, which has been some high quality races on the men's and women's sides. But let's just assume, forget about how they get there, whether it's a 2-day model, a 3-day model, 2 events, whatever. If you are telling me, remember, if you're a fan and you actually like track and field, again, not the people who kind of like it, the people who actually like it. If I give you a race where I can give you, just using the names we got right now, Noah Lyles, Kashane Thompson, Akani Simbini, maybe Fred Curley is crashing the party, even Christian Coleman, throw him in there. Look, if you give me these athletes competing in a race that they believe actually matters, and they're going to take it seriously, from what I can tell, the fans basically put our attention on wherever the athletes actually are, specifically the ones who we want to focus on. So if the fans like that athlete, they're just going to put their attention where they go. If they go to Tokyo to run, they're going to look over in Tokyo. If they go to Miramar, they'll look over there. If they run in a Continental Tour gold race, they'll look over there. It doesn't really care. People just want to be entertained. I get it, world championships and the Olympic culture, like that's a part of the amateurization of the sport. But if we want to move forward, pros are going to have to go out there and compete. And they're going to have to get paid for doing it. You can't convince me that even, again, leave the men on the women's side. If you really told me, let's just use Grand Slam's model in its current situation. If you're really going to give me Shericka Jackson, a Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, a Gabby Thomas, and yes, a Sha'Carri Richardson. They're all going to come to the line, and they're going to compete like it actually matters. It could be the month of April, it can be the month of May, June, July, I don't even care. People will pay attention. Remember, I didn't say they're coming for a warm-up race. That's not what I said. Oh yes, you gotta put Julian Alfred in there, obviously. But yes, if you brought them to the line, people will pay attention. That is must-see TV, if they're running like it actually matters. The only problem we have right now is that for the duration of the professional season, up until this year, people generally act like the races don't matter. We just kind of wait till national trials, do a whole bunch of random stuff on the circuit, make some money here, make some money there. Hopefully you get some sponsorships. Like, again, it's a grab bag. There's no clear path for success for anybody. And then the world happens, and then it's over, and then we restart the cycle again the next year. Grand Slam track is now giving us races that actually matter. It's the reason why they're giving out a slam champion, like a slam championship, to whoever wins an event group. You got to earn it. If you were watching, actually watching, whether you were live, watch it on CW or Peacock, if you actually saw those feeds or watched the entire event, you would get it. That you cannot win in Grand Slam track if you don't put up real numbers. You can't just run a fast race. You can't just kind of, get lucky with it. You actually got to take care of business. That's why Kenny Bednarik goes out there and runs, even though it's wind assisted, the fastest time in the world this year under all conditions in the 100. And then followed up with another world lead in the 200. And if he wanted that world lead, he was going to have to go fast, because two men in a different 200 section at Grand Slam track, the way their event groups are set up, had already put out what was world leading performances. They ran 1986, both of them down to the line. The thousandths is what separated first from second. So Grand Slam track gave you the three fastest men in the world in the 200, wind legal, all in one weekend. That is what the slams do. That is the magic of their system. It's not perfect, and it's definitely on the way to becoming something else. But the league has made it clear that they're trying to become what the fans want to receive. Because you do not have a league if you do not have fans. The NBA and the NFL can tell you that. So with all that being said, I really didn't have enough time to do a whole bunch of fancy editing with this one, but I also figured that you deserve to know what happened, because the Grand Slam track is here, and I don't believe it's going anywhere. And the fact that they're willing to make changes is telling us that they certainly mean business. Literally. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop, or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.